We need more games like the Invincible. If you didn't play this title yet, if it's the first time you are hearing about it, well then you are not on this channel terribly long. A few months ago I have posted my opinions on the game, or the demo version of it anyway. Feel free to check it out, but for the brief summary, I have essentially praised the game's approach to its storytelling. There is many ways you can do storytelling, and these ways only expand and grow in number when it comes to video games. The interactive portion of a video game is precisely what makes them incredibly unique, unmatched medium for any story. This is only confirmed by recent attempts of other media giants, like Netflix, to adopt and replicate the experience with their own work. That conversation in itself can be rather long, so let's rewind back to my original starting point. We need more games like this. The Invincible, the Metro franchise, Dead Space. Although you may have not heard of the Invincible, I would wager you heard of Metro and Dead Space, both of which are absolute household names and worldwide successes in gaming. For the purpose of this video though, I want to talk about Metro, as it almost perfectly represents the point I'm trying to make here. Metro was the first video game I've played that introduced me to the idea of no HUD in a game. That means no health bar, no weapon status, no minimap. No points of interest on your screen, nothing but the graphics. Some may call it raw gameplay, almost unfinished design, which is precisely the point. There are two key ingredients needed, a gripping story and smooth controls. On top of which you should always aim for captivating graphics, which does not necessarily mean realism, and Metro did story right, being based on series of books of the same name. Metro also opted for the ultra-realistic graphics, which is my personal choice for no hard gameplay. Although the Invincible is not like that. While the graphics are outstanding, we have the artistic talent of folks at Star Wars to thank for that, and Unreal Engine 5. Its graphics are much more, well, the word cartoonish comes to mind. Firewatch, another no-hard video game, has a striking resemblance of the graphic style of the Invincible. The similarities don't end there either. In fact, I would say that Firewatch was created by the same dev studio if I didn't know any better. Immersion is often thrown around as a catchphrase, a marketing word that can represent infinite number of things, as immersion is primarily a personal preference. At its core, immersion is very much the video game's ability to pull you in completely. That's why it often doesn't matter if the graphics are amazing or subpar, if the story is bland or rich, or if the gameplay is simple or complex. The factor that matters to most players is how can they relate and understand to any topic the game might be opening. To summarize, just for comparison, The Invincible is a story about a stranded scientist uncovering a strange metal-based life form on an alien planet. This premise, paired with the incredible graphics, very suitable dialogue and voice acting, and soundtrack complementing the entire experience, was more than enough to get me interested even before I've played the demo that confirmed I will enjoy this game and its story without a doubt. Having no HUD represents a challenge. Game development can prove severely more difficult if the game needs to hide any information away from the player. That's why most game studios do not consider it, or at least make sure the HUD is minimal instead of completely absent. You could argue that even games like The Invincible is not entirely without it, as there are prompts throughout the gameplay, like simple pointers or even text. These are all guides for the player, as without them you would end up wandering aimlessly. So is HUD then completely needed, or should we strive for a minimalistic approach? This is almost impossible to answer. Like I stated before, it's a matter of preference, but moreover, matter of the genre. Most video games simply do not benefit from hiding away information. Games like Firewatch or Metro always relied on their respective structure. In Firewatch, you are having over-the-radio dialogue, much like in The Invincible. The dialogue alongside graphics and mystery of the story is the driving force. The lack of hard aims to augment the experience to let you focus on the two aspects instead of worrying about your health bar or your ammunition. Metro is a video game that has a similar approach as games like Outlast, where the minimal HUD serves to terrify and cause anxiety. The less you know, the less you see. The less you see, the more you are afraid. Metro at its core is a horror game, story-driven game that aims to stun player with a raw experience coupled with sound design and also abuses the fact you simply cannot see everything, only what the light lets you. I said that we need more games like this, that we need to keep HUD away, which I still do believe in is just an easy thing to misinterpret. I want more games out there that can afford to lack HUD. Games that can ditch crafting, healing, collecting ammo and parts for upgrades. Simply movie-like experience that still has loads of different ways to be experienced. It's no surprise games like that are scarce. It's a rather difficult task to execute right. Not to mention the balance is incredibly fragile. The lack of HUD can either prove to be an immersive masterpiece or can be frustrating to deal with. Creating a story is always a craft to be admired, and games that let go, intentionally, of things as vital as the heads-up display must receive the proper recognition for it. And I believe this is very much what I'm doing here today.